أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. O Lord, let not our hearts deviate now after that you have guided us, for you are the bestower of mercy and the bestower of all bounties. Amen. وصلى اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Amin. So we're starting up with a new topic, and Rayan and Mariam, you may begin.
Okay. 25th flash. Message for the sick. This treatise consists of 25 remedies. It was written as a salve, a solace, and a prescription for the sick, and in order to visit them and wish them a speedy recovery.
Warning and apology. Immaterial prescription was written with a speed greater than all my other writings. This treatise was written in 4.5 hours, signed, and since time cannot be found to correct and study it, unlike all the others, it was read only once, and that at great speed, like its composition, that is to say, it has remained in the disordered state of a first draft. I did not consider it necessary to go over carefully the things which had occurred to me in a natural manner, lest they be spoilt by arranging them and paying them undue attention. Readers, and especially the sick, should not feel upset and offended at any disagreeable expressions or harsh words and phrases. Let them rather pray for me.
In the name of God, the merciful, the compassionate. Those who say when afflicted by calamity, to God do we belong, and to him is our return. Who gives me food and drink? And when I am ill, it is he who cures me. In this flash, we describe briefly 25 remedies which may offer true consolation and a beneficial cure for the sick and those struck by disaster, who form 1/10 of mankind.
First, unhappy sick person, do not be anxious, have patience. Your illness is not a malady for you. It is a sort of cure. For life departs like capital. If it yields no fruits, it is wasted. And if it passes in ease and heedlessness, it passes swiftly. Illness makes that capital of yours yield huge profits. Moreover, it does not allow your life to pass quickly. It restrains and lengthens it, so that it will depart after yielding its fruits. An indication that your life is lengthened through illness is the following much repeated proverb: the times of calamity are long, the times of happiness most brief.
Second remedy.
Thank you so much, both of you. I think we can take a pause and then proceed with the second remedy later on. So we can go over the first remedy. Again, Mariam and Rayan, thank you very much both for a nice reading. So, the treatise that the author is sharing, it's interesting actually, like all of his other treatises. And so this time it's talking about illness or sickness, all right? And just wondering, since both of you read, if you can please share out any takeaway you had or any sort of impressions that just came to you while reading this? It would be helpful for all of us to start the discussion. If anyone, Miriam and Rayan, what are your thoughts thus far on what you read? Feel free to share out a keyword or sentence or a question, or what you wonder about in noticing perhaps. So go ahead, you can, there's no pressure really, or if a word didn't make sense to you, you can even ask that. Okay, so while Miriam and Rayan are thinking who goes first, we can extend this out to anyone else. Miriam from Ohio with lots of musical symbols, love it. Go ahead. So I see Miriam and Rayan have their hand raised up. So, okay, go ahead, Miriam and Rayan, and then we'll tackle with Miriam with musical instruments.
So I just wanted to share that whenever my head's hurting or I'm not feeling well, I just wonder how my pain is soothed, and I wonder how it goes away, and like how I feel better, and whenever like I get medicine or something or I get treated well, like I wonder if that just makes it feel better, or is there some other source behind it?
Also, like you're also questioning inside yourself, like where does this pain come from? Like how does it get into me? Like who is behind this pain? Like how, like who gives me this pain? So like really, like the pain just doesn't come like, you know, like just from there. It just comes from one source that's behind this, like, you know, all of this.
Mashallah, thank you, Ran and Miriam, for sharing your reflections. That's a very good start to what has been shared in this treatise. So really, when we're afflicted with any pain, be it, like Miriam said, a headache or stomachache or anything, obviously, you know, it's in human nature. I do not desire it. No one wants to be sick or with any kind of little pain. And so we question, like Rayan said, the source of its existence. What is the cause of existence of this pain? Here I was, you know, all jolly and, you know, healthy earlier, and suddenly I wake up this morning with a headache or something else. And then, yeah, what is going on here? So that was a great reflection. Thank you. And can Rayan and Miriam, can one of you please read up the comment from our friend, Miriam Ostomer? So Rayan or Miriam, can you please read that question and see if you can tackle it? Thank you.
Okay. What does remedy mean?
Excellent question. What does remedy mean? So who's going to help us out here? What does remedy mean? Gee, I wonder the same thing. Well, oh, remedy, pretty much. Go ahead, Rayan and Miriam.
So for me, I feel like remedy means something that helps me. It means like cure and like helps me feel better, or something that just makes me feel like how I usually feel.
Yeah. Like a remedy is, yeah, like a cure. Like, you know, it just helps you, like, you know, be healthy.
And for me, remedy also means something that's like merciful, because whenever I get cured, I like feel better. So it's like mercy to me.
Wow, mashallah. Thank you both for sharing this. Ooh, I'll try to speak loud. Yeah, it's a cure, definitely. And then Miriam brought up another dimension of it in terms of its mercy. So yeah, I'll be yeah, interested to expound more on that. But yeah, good answers. Thank you. And you have a thumbs up from Ali Murmur. I don't know if you want to speak, but I think that's a thumbs up. But also, if Miriam Ozdemir, is everything good? Or do you want to express out something more? Feel free to also speak. We would love to hear from you as well.
Thank you. The explanation is really nice.
Yay, teamwork. Excellent. All right, so let's get started. This was a great warm-up. I'm really appreciative for the two Miriams and Rayan to start us off, because now I'm also wondering and thinking about this treatise with the careful lens, because there's an interesting verse that is shared. And yeah, so the verse is Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of God, the merciful, the compassionate. Those who say when afflicted by calamity, to God do we belong and to him is our return, which is from Quran, chapter number 2, verse 156. And then who gives me food and drink, and when I'm ill, it is he who cures me. That is from Quran, chapter 26, verse number 79 to 80. Whoa, I just love this last verse. Who gives me food and drink, and when I'm ill, it is he who cures me. It is as if it's letting me know that everything that I'm given is given or brought into existence by a single source of existence, or that which I conclude to be absolute. Yeah, so this is what my human journey is. I get hungry, I eat, I'm thirsty, I drink, I want to play outside, catch the sun, go for a ride, read something, everything. And then yeah, it's very interesting that everything that's given to me, all kinds of feeling, emotions, is brought into existence by the same one that satisfies my hunger, that satisfies my thirst, or that satisfies, cures me, or sort of provide me with a remedy. So this is excellent. I don't know. Let me see if there's anyone here in the group who wants to add something. Feel free to raise your hand. It could be anything. A comment, a thought, a question. No? Okay. Yeah, it's very interesting in terms of Ali Marmer has raised his hand. Go ahead, Ali Marmer.
I think we need to stay on the verses mentioned here. They seem to be quite interesting combination. The first one says, those who say when afflicted by calamity. Now the calamity, something disaster, something I don't like, occurs, and I am afflicted by it. It means I don't like it and it is happening to me. I mean, I don't feel, I feel pain, I don't like it, and it harms my beautiful life. So they say, well, these people who are subject to the calamity say, to God we belong to. To God we belong. And to him is our return. Now, what is it to do with it? I think the purpose of the Quran is to teach us what our position here in this world, and consequently, what my duty, my responsibility is in this world, to acknowledge that if something happens to me, it means whatever I like is taken away from me. Then, for example, the subject is being sick. So I am healthy and something happened, I feel sick. Now, I should say the Quran is advising me, my health belonged to the one who created me, God. And now I am, and my return will be to him. It means the health wasn't or did not belong to me. It wasn't my property. It was given to me, and the one who gave it to me has taken away from me now. It is very interesting. I cannot complain. It wasn't my property anyways. I cannot claim that I made the health, I made myself healthy, and somebody took it away. No, somebody who created me, who is called God, has given me the property of health, and he has taken it away because it is his property. He can take it away. But what is my duty in this relationship? I am a conscious being. I am aware of my own reality. And I am aware of what is going on. I can analyze them. I can try to understand them and try to interpret them, what it means for me. So I understand that this verse is telling me, look, when you are ill, don't say as if by complaining, oh, the one who took the health from me is harming me. You are afflicting me with a calamity. No, no, no. The verse is saying, don't say this because it is not harming you. It is just reminding you that health does not belong to you. It is my property. Are you aware of it? I can take it anytime. It is my property. You cannot keep it because you are not the creator of your health, real owner of your health. It is just given to you as a bounty, as a grace. So just don't complain. Don't say it is a calamity. It is just a means of reminding you that you cannot keep the health. Although you claim that it is my health, but you cannot keep it. I can take it anytime. So acknowledge it. Be conscious of it, that health is given to you. And when the health is given to you, you have to appreciate it. You have to be thankful for it. By me taking it away, I am just reminding you that health is not your property, doesn't belong to you. So you will realize that, look, I cannot keep it. If it was my property, I would be able to keep it. You see, you cannot keep it. So appreciate the value of your health and also be thankful to the one who gave you the health. This is a way of reminding me about my reality. So even we call it calamities, some calamities, the verse says, hey, it may seem to be calamity to you. It is not calamity. It is just a means of training you, educating you, preparing you, teaching you how to learn your reality so that you will communicate with your creator in real terms. For example, when I say, thank you, God, I worship you, I'm not doing something extra favor to my creator. I am just acknowledging my reality, nothing more. I think this is a beautiful verse, the first verse. The following two verses also are related to this, but I would like others also to speak. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Ali, for elaborating on this verse. An interesting point in terms of I do not own anything. I'm given, really, given, given, and given, bestowed. And so everything then becomes just a means of educating myself and training myself to acknowledge and connect with the source of existence or the true bestower of all the bounties. And yeah, it's even the to God do we belong, and to him is our return. Like every even experiences or anything that I interact with, any meaning that I extract from creation, or any feelings that are imparted onto me, I do not own them. Like what I cannot even claim ownership over it because they come and go. So it's if I were able to really hold something in a box, preserve it, then maybe it would be valid to claim, yeah, that belongs to me. But the reality of this creation is such that I cannot hold on, like cannot keep anything, like store it somewhere. No, it's just fleeting. Every moment is fleeting. Every enjoyment is fleeting. Every experience is fleeting. This morning just bid us farewell. We are constantly changing, aging, whatever, we describe this act of creation, the change as aging. Years are passing by, and that's really the man-made terminologies here, but in reality, it's just act of creation, again, being demonstrated in a different form. And if I was not presented with such type of manifestation, then I can't even imagine what it would be like, because it's only through this change that I experience that I can conclude the agent of change, the one that's bringing each moment into existence. And that's what I need to be with. That's what I need to connect myself with. And that's why everything then is a reminder, even the different state of being that we, wake up with. Like this morning, you may wake up with a certain feelings, and then you may have some other, feelings later on. You're like, yay, today I want to become an astronaut. Yay, I'm going to conquer the world. And tomorrow you wake up like, you know what? Let me stick with being a musician or something. So all these feelings, these are human potentialities, and it's given to us. It's really what we are endowed with. But it's amazing actually to live with the awareness that I am just reading a speech of my maker. I'm just through my feelings, I'm just communicating with the source of my existence. So that was exciting to reflect on. Alhamdulillah. Is there anyone else who wants to share anything? Hatice Beza, go ahead, please.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for sharing your reflections so far. I wanted to share some of my reflections as I was listening, and kind of some objections that I had, but at the same time how those objections were resolved for the more I listened. So when it says, those who say when afflicted by calamity, to God we belong and to him is our return, it almost seems, not almost, but it seems that the purpose of the calamity is for me to be reminded that I belong to him and to him is my return. So, the realization that that I cannot complain because something is given to me. So it was never mine to begin with. So in its absence, I have no right whatsoever to complain. From one perspective, I understand this, but another part of me says, then why is it that I'm given the sense that I want this thing? Why is it that the lack of this thing then has been made unpreferable to me. So as was said, what seems to be the apparent calamity there to me is not so much so the lack of that thing, but rather that, or rather the my own heedlessness or my own lack of awareness that whatever is not being given to me there is probably of no real substance. So when I say, you know, then why is it that you're not giving me this thing, for example, it's usually in material terms or something else. And if it's not material, if it's like, oh, why am I not happy, for example, then that claim is, you know, it kind of implies that I'm not myself am aware what that state of happiness looks to me, although I have the sense of happiness within me. So let me try to wrap this up so it doesn't get too messy. What I was trying to say is that in and of itself, to say, you know, I cannot complain about something because it's been given to me, it seems insufficient. And I'm not saying that this was said by itself. I'm just wrapping it up. I think my objection was addressed, so I'm not questioning anything there from that perspective. But at the same time, I guess the real calamity or the real you know, even before this verse, this is in the name of God, the merciful or the compassionate. In the way in which this verse comes to me, or in the apparent calamity, is a mercy, because it reminds me that not only am I not the owner of these things, but through this feeling of lack, I become aware of the sense, I can become aware that I am being taken care of, and my need for existence is being sustained right then and there. And at the very least, whatever need that it is that I'm feeling, it is calling me to an awareness of him as the one who can sustain me, or who can fulfill that need of mine. So from that perspective, instead of me complaining about why is it that I don't have this or that, then it can become a way for me to turn my gaze towards him, to see that in this apparent lacking, or in this apparent calamity, is then a mercy for me. Why? Because it reminds me that it is he who can fulfill this, and in this feeling of lack, he's pushing me to him so that he can fulfill it in a way. And my need for existence, my need to exist, is in that moment also being sustained. So that would be my 2 cents. Hopefully that made some sense.
Hatice Beyza, thank you so much for sharing this beautiful comment. I mean, really, you spoke the true human nature side of things. And, you know, while you were speaking, I was just remembering when this whole event that we are all experiencing on a global level took place. There was this kind of resentment, I think, within the human being. And I remember even myself, I was saying, oh man, like, are you kidding me? Stuck at home? No, I gotta go out. I gotta do this. Like, hello, me staying home? Are you kidding me? And now that, you know, at first, you know, this is how the human being reflect. But now, I guess we're not the only one. I was reading this blog from this some other people, and they're like, you know what, you know, they were all sharing the same thing. But now this is amazing. Like, whatever we're experiencing, like, I don't mind being a, you know, this is great, whatever is being presented to us. So like everything that we're experiencing, everything, or all the feelings that are imparted onto us, it's really like you beautifully mentioned, that it's really a means for me to, you know, even reorient myself, as in, am I the one that's in control of everything? Am I the one that's setting up the stage for myself? Am I the one that's, maybe getting entertainment from all these extracurricular activities, that we're all involved in? No, it's it's really, it makes you laugh now. I think about it. I felt like I was really living in a delusion, thinking that, just doing whatever is it that I'm doing is, keeping me busy. This is it. I got a routine. I mean, although we do have a routine, but like it's really how we define our routines that also sets the stage for us. But right now, these are like really good times for anyone really to make sense of their existence. What is it really that, brings me value? What is it really that I I seek? What is my aim, or what is the purpose of my existence really? Just, if we want to bring everything to an existential level. And, there's no skipping around taking everything to the existential level. At first, it may seem daunting. We may just say, oh, really, yeah, this is, me, my time, my life, I'm given existence, let me do this, let me get this done, it's all good, bring it on. But for what? We're all changing, aging constantly. It's have no control. We cannot stop any of it, although it would be ideal, and that's what the human desire is, to wanting, or this need to wanting everything to be eternal or permanent. And that's where, then we search for a meaningful meaning, a purpose to our interactions here. And that's how we realize the true objectives of our being given existence here. And that's how also we get to really connect or be in communication with the source of our existence. So thank you, Hatice, for sharing that comment. And I see Mohammed Said, you have your hand up. Go ahead, please.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much for all the comments. The verse also got my attention, the second verse, two verses that are following each other. As if I'm being told that if the things that I'm interacting with are not perceived, are not related to the giver of the things, they become the same in terms of, like, for example, the verse mentions food and drink, and the next verse it mentions about cure. If I interact with the food and drink as like eating, I'm hungry and I'm eating, and it becomes a matter of, like, am I gaining weight or not? Am I eating the healthy food for my body or not? If that's the relationship I have with the food, automatically my relationship with the sickness will become in the same way. And second, it becomes a meaningless relationship because there's nothing in it that takes me to a meaning, like why I have to eat, and why there is food, why there is hunger. But if I relate my eating and drinking and my need for them, as it was said, cure, remedy implies that there is mercy, then the food and drink becomes a merciful treatment for me. That the giver of my need is showing me that he is the merciful one. He is the provider. He hears my need. He's aware of my need. So when I'm in this mindset, I automatically, when I get sick, when I have a pain in my stomach, I search for this relation. I focus on this uh, relation to the giver of the sickness, because there is, um, um, because let's say my walking is not from me, so my sickness is not from me too. Cannot be. So this is I think the sickness starts becoming some kind of interaction with the giver of the sickness, with the giver of the cure, as soon as I realize that I am not the owner of anything, not only the sickness, but also like walking and breathing and food and drink. So I found it very interesting and very useful for me to be invited to perceive my sickness, or the things that I find myself liking, like food and drink, in relation to the giver of them. So the verse is if like saying that whatever you see in the provision of the food and drink, you are kind of capable of seeing the same meaning in the sickness, in the search of cure, in in that in that state of neediness. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Muhammad Said. That was a beautiful comment indeed. Through these verses, we recognize the true bestower of all the bounties, and it's also through the need, basic needs we may call thirst and hunger, that we realize, oh, the one that's giving me this need is the one that satisfies me. And similarly, when something undesirable is experienced, the same thing happens. We recognize the giver of health, for example. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. And have this friend up here who wants to say something, and then Tulu can go next. Thanks for the patience.
Yeah, thank you. So all the comments, mashallah. I was also looking at the three verses that were shared, and what is imparted to me, like the way Brother Ali explained the first one, to God do we belong, and to him is our return. So we start complaining of something that is given to us to begin with, and it's just taken, and we start complaining, hey, why is it taken away? And that's an interesting principle, I think, that is being established in this verse, that hey, whatever ownership you may be claiming for something, it's not yours to begin with, so stop complaining. That's the fundamental principle. And then the next two verses are more something that touches my practical life, I would say. That's how we live. We start working, and we get provision, we eat, drink, we do all those things. And along the way, we're in our life, we may get sick, and these are like our major concerns. Hey, are you employed? Are you, getting your food and drink, or are you healthy? Is that something you are? So it's pretty much like the practical summary of, how that fundamental teaching needs to be followed, in terms of, hey, whatever, let's say I'm a farmer, and I say, hey, is it my right to be claiming that, hey, I need to get the crops to be growing, or is it something I see as my privilege, or is it something that is a blessing or a gift? Because it's not mine to begin with. The soil I'm using, the seeds that I'm sowing, whatever I'm doing in my life, is anything mine actually to begin with, or is just something that is presented or gifted to me? So that's how I see that. Who gives me food and drink? I start taking things for, like, hey, I deserve this. This is how I should be. But excuse me, who is talking? What is your position? Do you think your existence is given by yourself, or whatever you're living in this life, whatever you're working? Do you think that's your privilege, or this is something that you must have, or this is something that is just gifted to you? And So that's how that principle of to God do we belong, that everything and every existence, every event, every thing that we are interacting with is his property. And we are just using it, and it is given to us. And if it's taken, it's his property to begin with. Again, so even the health that is, in the next one, when I'm ill, we think, hey, somebody is healthy. We think that health belongs to the person himself. No, something that is given again. Going back to the principle of to the existence of health and illness. Who is the source behind? What is that source teaching you, basically? By when you health is given, do I really remember or acknowledge the source? So that's why I need the reminders of the creation of illness for me to remember, yeah, it's not mine to begin with. Thank you for reminding me. Or when I'm not given the crops in my, let's say as a farmer, oh yeah, it's not my ability or my thing, it's this is all given to me. So it puts my reality into perspective. So that's how I think this is how it's benefiting me, all these three verses. It's an interesting combination the author has put up together. Thank you.
Jazakallah khair. That was a beautiful sharing out. Indeed, I don't have much to say, but it made me laugh how the human being is really, we are like 100% procrastinator with everything. It can start from anything, like even, like you were saying, taking things for granted as this is mine, or even anything, like even the freedom, this is it, what, like I'm free to do whatever I want. I'm free to travel wherever I want, but like with everything that's been imposed right now or established, it makes me realize, knock, like who's really the doer of things. And like, even things may start off as complaint, but later on, I think the more we train, the more this period of complaint may reduce or shrink once we recognize, whatever is given to us, really, who is the true source of existence of it. So thanks for sharing that. And Tolu, I know you had your hand up, so please go ahead.
Hey, salam, guys. Not to beat a dead horse, because I know we talk about the same thing over and over again. I do want to like highlight that it seems like we might be like skipping a step here. The step basically, which has come up before, but the step being that I was given the not liking of whatever scenario that's happening. So not having food, like I was given that feeling of not liking not having food. I was given that feeling of not liking not having health. So like for an analogy, say for instance, I'm staying in an apartment for free and I'm not paying rent. And I'm staying there not paying rent for like years and years and years. And then one day the owner of the apartment comes and says, okay, you're either going to pay rent now or you have to leave the apartment. For me, speaking for myself, that would be difficult. Like I would complain. I'd be like, you know what? I've been here all this time. I haven't been paying rent. I've been enjoying it. And now I either have to pay rent or I have to leave. So even though it was given to me, now that I'm losing it, that hurts. And then from there, I can go on to ask myself, okay, well, was this mine in the first place? And so kind of like the same conclusion that we've all gotten to, but I think there's an important step in between, which is not liking, which would then lead me to asking, well, was this mine to begin with? Thank you.
Thank you, Tulu, for really sharing your comment and this beautiful example.
Analogy was good.
Analogy was really good. Yeah, my friend and I were really laughing at it, but at the same time, because it's very rich, that analogy is just vivid. It's teaching us how we react to things and how, there's no denying in things like, okay, the sense of disliking, definitely, it's very human. And it's given to us for a purpose. Everything has a purpose. It's given to us the sense of disliking makes me realize, hey, that I like, it makes me really recognize that I have this feeling of liking this and this. I have this feeling of liking things to be this way. And how they say, no pain, no gain. So without experiencing, when things like hurt, like, okay, suddenly the whatever, the owner comes in, hey, pay the rent. You're like, what? Excuse me? Like, I mean, that's very human. And then without realizing or experiencing this, I wouldn't even, get to know what the reality is. I won't even question that, wait, my even existence, like, really? Yeah. Does existence doesn't belong to me? Like, nothing belongs to me? Like, whoa, pause. Really, what is then giving existence to everything? What is giving existence to this universe that I'm experiencing? What is bringing into existence this setup? Anything that I'm made to experience, it's brought into existence by conscious will. So it becomes like really a teaching, a training ground where I'm supposed to be learning something here. There's got to be a lesson here. Just the previous comment, like Muhammad Said was sharing, food, hunger, thirst, water may seem simple, but hey, it's really like questioning, like, why am I made in this way? Like, given hunger every morning, like, forget about every morning. Ramadan is over now. It's like every hour, every hour. And especially if you're stuck home, then, like, really, what is this? Like, what kind of setup is this? And then food is available. So if I just go on eating it mindlessly, then I'm not really fulfilling the purpose of my existence. It's just like students sitting down in the classroom and just copying the notes. Okay, yeah, this is what I gotta do. But no, hey, wait, huh? Are you doing your homework? Like, why are you given hunger? Why are you made in a way where you experience certain feelings that are not coming into existence by themselves? Neither are you the source of existence of these feelings, but the way it's set up, it's given onto me, it's provided to me, and then within my needs, the solution is also provided. Answers are also provided. So really, what is the source of existence of the answers? So the one that's, poking me or probing me with these questions is also the one that's giving me the answers to my questions. And that's really what I need to recognize, that it's the same absolute source of existence that's teaching me my own reality or my position in such a way. Okay. Thank you for sharing this. Let me see if there's anyone else who wants to say something. Do you want to add something, bro?
Yeah, just to the point of the example that Tolu gave about living for free rent, and then all of a sudden being asked by the landlord to pay their rent, and I start complaining. Do I have that right to complain?
Do I have a right to complain? That's
I know I dislike it. Who likes to pay rent anyway? But that's on the side. But I think it's a valid kind of teaching for me, at least, to realize, because if I'm never paying rent and nobody bothers me, do you think I will learn anything, or will I ever understand that, hey, somebody is doing me a favor here by providing me free accommodation? I don't think that appreciation will ever come if the status quo stays with free rent. So I think it's a mercy, as HBS also pointed out, that this is, some circumstance changes comes, and I get to realize, wait, somebody actually is given me this particular place to live for, and I never acknowledged that thing, and I never learned anything. So I think this is a good example to realize, there's a dislike as an immediate reaction. Everybody dislikes, something that doesn't go to what their expectations are. But then this is what the reminder is for. This is what the teaching is. Hey, To God belongs everything that we see. To God do we belong our existence, and to him is our return. So it goes back to that fundamental principle that, hey, whatever existence, that things that you are taking for free, for granted, hey, realize that it is coming from your source, who is your taking care of you. Yeah, just to add to that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, agreed. And I think HB has also put in some comment there. Hatice, would you wanna please read your comments? Or you can assign someone to read it otherwise. But yeah, anyone, please. There's some beautiful gems that are shared on the chat.
Yeah, if we have a volunteer to read it, that would be fine. Maybe Mariam, if she's okay with that.
So you've assigned Mariam Ozdemir? That's fine. Go ahead, Mariam. Mariam, oh, go ahead.
Okay. Wait. Oh, there it is. The sense of dislike tells me, 1, it is given to me by a conscious being. 2, the existence of the sense of dislike is not meaningless, so I have to utilize it as a sort of training for myself. 3, the existence of dislike of something looks to being given the thing that I like, but that I need to question what it is that I truly dislike and what I truly.
Thank you, Mariam for sharing your comments. So I saw a hand up. Hatice, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mariam, for reading my comment. Yeah, I mean, I think there could definitely be more added to this, but I, for me, I was trying to try to fill the gap in for myself as well, in what that dislike is telling me, because in being aware of the fact that the dislike does not belong to me, right? Then I am sure in my conclusion that it is being given to me, and when I look at the way that things come into existence and the order of the universe, I say that there must be a source of existence who's a conscious being who brings things into existence in a meaningful and wise manner. So when I have the dislike of something, when I find myself with a dislike of something, then I can say, okay, so the existence of this dislike must also be meaningful, and I have to use it or utilize it in a way so that I can train myself to find what this meaningful aspect of it is for me. And I think part of it, we can tie it very easily to what was said before about using it as becoming aware of the fact that nothing belongs to me, that everything, I'm always a recipient, that nothing, or rather, in being a constant recipient, right, my duty is to become aware of this reality, and in that, I have to find out what it means for me to truly dislike or like something. So that ties into the third point there, meaning that if I dislike something, what is it about it that I truly dislike? So if I'm ill, right, no one likes a state of being sick or a lack of health, but is it really the state of illness that I dislike? Or is it rather because I have a love for eternal health or happiness or the perfection of being healthy that looks to eternal existence that's at stake there? So it's not so much that the state of illness, of course, it's not preferable, but if I am sure in my conclusion that it looks to, or it points to, or within it is a confirmation of the fact that I am being given existence, and I will be given existence, eternal, perfect existence, by virtue of having been created by one who has these absolute qualities, then it should, at least in theory, and hopefully in practice, be a remedy to my wound in wanting in disliking disliking sickness and wanting health for myself. There's a comment about voice that I just saw, so hopefully that went through and made some sense.
Thank you, Hatice. No, heard you good. I think there's just some variations in between. Okay, so is there anyone else who wants to make a comment or share something? Okay. Let's see. I'm just gonna move on to the next page, the first remedy, the first cure. It's interesting how it starts off, unhappy sick person. It's also it's inevitable where, obviously nobody wants to be sick. So obviously then you are in the state of whatever you're experiencing. And so that's how, things speak to you, right? And so do not be anxious, have patience. So your illness is not a malady for you, it's a sort of cure. It's a cure for the inner wounds, I would say, inner dimension of the human being, the human side that really yearns for an eternal one. Otherwise, if I just take off like a headache or something, just as something out there, and then obviously I'm like, yeah, I'm unhappy right now, I want to be cured, but then it's just I'm looking for just satisfaction at a very horizontal level, rather than utilizing, just like the author is suggesting here, and just like how it was shared with all the comments and the verse, that I need to really dig deeper into things in terms of, wait a minute, am I giving existence, first of all, to, the health that I enjoy, and then now this lack of health that I'm experiencing, it's not, it's undesirable. And so really the cure lies in recognition of who the health giver is, and really what my position here is. I don't know, let me check in with anyone else if you want to share any comments, questions, thoughts. Miriam and Ryan, how's it going? It's been a while. We haven't heard from you. If you have anything to say, share, noticing, wondering, go ahead while you're thinking. I have, you want to say something?
Sure, yeah, I can. So the first remedy, unhappy sick person, do not be anxious, have patience. So reconsider what you are unhappy about. What is that sickness to you, or what is bringing you worry and making you anxious? Reconsider it, think about it. Your illness is not a malady for you, interesting. So whatever your illness is not actually something, a sickness for you. But it is actually a cure. It is something, there's a cure in there, within the sickness. Reminds me, within hardship there is ease kind of words. Within the sickness itself there is the cure. And then the author says, life departs like capital.
Oh man.
If it yields no fruits, it is wasted. So I felt like it seems that in this first remedy, in first cure, the author is trying to pinpoint, hey, there must be a purpose to your life, that it has to yield fruits. So you cannot just have life which does not learn anything, with there's no progress, there's no training, there's no success in its being there. So there is a progress has to be made for within the life as you go through experiences. Doesn't have you cannot have it stagnant. It has to be dynamic and interactive. It has to be engaging. Like you are living life to the fullest means you are everything. You go through a lot of learning to make progress.
It's interesting that you're mentioning all this because, like you were saying, nobody wants to be sick, but then what are we desiring? You know, like when you get sick, I remember, like I don't even want to take off from school. Like I don't want to miss out. Yeah, favorite subject being sports. Like I didn't want to miss it out. So like, what is at stake here? Yes, I'm sick. Or I don't want the sickness. Why? Because hey, I'm not gonna be able to enjoy sports. Let's say, right?
Right.
So there's some sort of interaction going on there.
Yeah.
That's the, I don't want to miss out on this.
Yeah.
And so rather I should be more concerned about like an end goal or ultimate result. Like that's my immediate concern.
Yeah,
like I don't want
but that is part of what life is. Those are the life experiences one has to go through. And these are the opportunities provided to understand that, hey, life is not yours to begin with, it has been given. Health is not yours to begin with, but it has been given. The events that you're going through are just the tools or the mechanisms or the way for you, for the human being, to be able to learn and then come to conclusions and make progress. So, for example, like I would think that responsibility in life is needed, is necessary for the human being to make progress. If, let's say, for example, there's a student in school and the teacher just does all the work for the student, or the parents do all the work for the student. So is the student, like, is nothing really challenging for the student because everything is just, hey, let me do it for you. Somebody says that, let me fix this for you. Let me solve all these math problems for you. Let me write the essay for you. Would the student ever be able to learn anything? So I would say, yeah, so this is something that is harmful to the student. There's no progress being made. So something that is always in a very simple kind of, everything is good in life and there's no challenges that one has to go through, I don't think the human being will be able to learn.
Yeah, Mariam has a nice comment, spoon feeding. Yeah.
Right. So there has to be challenges in life just like there has to be challenge for the student in the school to be able to engage with the coursework, to learn. Similarly in life, whoever the educator of this universe is for me has to, must teach me accordingly. So I need to go through, the learning, investigation, going through analysis, and then coming up with my own personal conclusions, individual personal conclusions. That's what will make me progress.
For life departs like capital. If it yields no fruits, it is wasted. That's, wow, that's like profound actually. Life departs like capital. And if it passes in ease and heedlessness, it passes swiftly. So like the point you were saying, or the spoon feeding, that it passes quickly. You're like, oh man, all those good moments, I was well taken care of. And now I can't find anyone to do my homework. Here's the job market. My boss can't do my work. He has assigned me work. Who do I assign to get my project done?
Delegation. Delegate it to someone.
Now this, like sooner or later you face it. This whole reality of things. And like even life departs like capital. Gee, I wonder, let me ask the audience up here. We have some cool kids here on the block. We have Rayan, Mariam, and Mariam Ostermeyer. What do you understand from the life is departing like capital if it yields no fruit? So the part that Hamim highlighted. What do you understand from that? What is capital? Can you please share your thoughts on that? What do you understand from capital? Let's see, we have IDK, I don't know. Okay, no problem. Thanks for the honesty. Next up, Mariam and Rhea. Oh, Mariam, you have your hand up. Go ahead, Mariam Ostomer.
Maybe the capital of life?
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
That's great. Yeah. Okay, you got it. Capital of life. Okay. So
What about hearing, senses?
Mariam and Rhea, let's hear from you now.
Like the capital of our existence, maybe.
Oh, okay,
Good.
great. Capital for existence. Yeah. Yeah, like all of our tools, senses, emotions, feelings. Yeah. Do you want to add more? I saw wait. You sound like judges in cartoon. Oh my God, who sound like judges in cartoon? Wait, Mariam Ostomer. What do you mean? Oh God. Alrighty. Go ahead, Mariam Ostomer. Do I sound like cartoon now? Ouch. Go ahead.
So what I meant by that was like, we would like raise your hand and say something, and you'd be like, yeah, okay, and you would just like be sort of overlapping each other, so that
That's
sort
funny. All right, that's great. Yeah. So we're enjoying this discussion, alhamdulillah. All right. So yeah, so the human capital being our existence, all the tools that we're provided. And so life departs like that. Like, I don't want to lose any of this. I don't want to lose existence, right? So I'm just, speaking out loud with what I'm understanding here. So if it yields no fruits, so it looks like it's gotta yield some fruits. So I need to do something. So I need to do my homework. Yeah. Any thoughts on that? Anyone else? The grown-ups? Any? Let's see, there's some comments here. Not. Okay. No, not the homework. Yeah, when you're not doing your homework. Yeah, true. Okay.
So basically, use the life to yield the fruits.
Utilize it for its purpose, right?
Yeah, make sure that there is you are progressing in something in your life, understanding who your Lord is. That is, I would say, is the primary fruit of realization of that you belong to an eternal source, and that's the source you have to go to. So if this realization doesn't happen in life, then I think life will be a waste. You live and you die, and that's it, nothing more. And as we know, this is only given for a certain time period, so it's important that we cultivate, basically go through the life experiences and learn from them. So that's what this first remedy is telling me, that life has to yield fruits.
Good point. And bottom line, I think, just to piggyback off what you said, Asim, illness makes that capital of yours yield huge profits. As in, don't let anything go to waste. You may say, yeah, it's just a headache, it's just a stomach ache. No, it's there for a purpose, right? So read it, open the book and start, reading it and use it for your own benefit that benefits your humanity, so you can fulfill the purpose of your existence. So don't let, it's just anything that you experience, a little allergies or something, go to waste. What is this teaching me, obviously? And you start questioning basically what we went over. And then I saw capital of the strength of faith. Yeah, you got it. Muhammad Said, you had your hand up. Go ahead, please.
Great. Yeah, within the context of disliking the illness, I find myself really yearning for the things that I like to be with the things that I'm yearning for, the things that I like. So it gives me, it triggers that awareness, that what a beautiful thing to be able to, let's say, walk without having any pain. I wasn't aware of it till this time. I was always running around and doing things, but one pain comes in, now everything that I was using so far becomes so valuable, and um, arises. It helps me to be aware of the value of the blessings that I am given. So it functions as a reminder, really, for how valuable the life is, and everything included in life is. Thank you.
Mohammed Said, thank you for this beautiful comment. Really, I was also looking into, how when we're enjoying life, like you're saying, we're utilizing our existence, when we, start recognizing how valuable everything is. It's a work in progress, of course. And like even the happy moment just like pass by, with just a snap. And like the author is sharing that proverb at the end, that the times of calamity are long, the times of happiness most brief. Because usually when we're really, I don't know, enjoying something, we don't really tend to question like this experience or this feeling. It's really when like something undesirable is experienced, like a headache or something, or illness, then we start valuing things more. Or even also when one start aging as well, then you're like, oh wow, I thought I was agile and all that. No. It's all given, it's all provided. So yeah, it's this proverb at the end, an indication that your life is lengthened through illness, is the following much repeated proverb: the times of calamity are long, the times of happiness most brief. Yeah, so it's just like how things really go pretty much hand in hand. We're mostly in times of happiness or youth, I'm maybe heedless, but it's really when it's apparent, you're like, oh boy, this is just went by, and then that's when we realize the value of existence and really what it points to and what am I supposed to do. And I was just curious to know here, like the times of calamity are long. What do you all understand from that? The times of, I understand the time of happiness most brief. I think we can all relate to that. Like number one on the list to relate to that one. But the times of calamity are long. I'm trying to make more sense of this. If someone has any insights on that, why would the author mention that in light of the text we're reading? How do you understand the times of calamity are long? That's the question. Go ahead, Tolu.
I understand from it that maybe they might not necessarily be longer times of calamity, but it feels longer because when speaking for myself, when I'm in calamity, um, like it's very apparent, and it like consumes like my thinking. It's like the only thing I can see at that point in time, and so it seems overwhelming, and it seems like it's the only thing that's there, and it seems like it's like there for a long time. And so when you're enjoying something, it goes by very quickly, but when you're not enjoying something because you don't want it, it can seem like it's going very, very slowly. That's my understanding from this.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, because yeah, you're like too focused on something. So let's say you have a white t-shirt and there's this black dot and you're just like, oh man, let me remove this black stain. And so if you're focusing on that, then you miss the whole white t-shirt. So that's yeah, that makes sense. But also, like, in light of what the author is saying in terms of yielding fruit, so if when a calamity is given and if it's not utilized to fulfill the purpose of its existence, so it seems that there's this kind of attachment of that calamity must yield fruit. So anything, basically, any experience that we're going through, happiness, joy, sadness, it must yield fruit. I think that's, you know, like a given start, that anything that we experience must yield fruit. But the point here is, how should it yield fruits? And then I feel that with happiness, it's not that easy because you're just like indulged in the moment. So, so that can be a little wasted, as opposed to, like you were saying, in the time of calamity, then you're more, you know, questioning it, like you're really reflecting on your feelings and the existence side of things. So then once you recognize like the true purpose of my existence here, then it's, you know, it's yielding fruits, or that messenger really delivered the message, and then you as the recipient, I was able to read it. So that was it. So let's see if there's anyone else who wants to add something or has a comment or anything. Since my life is short, Hatice, I would really love to hear your voice. Go ahead, please.
Only for you, Fadia. Okay. I wrote, since my life is short, a majority of my time is not spent in happiness, and by that I meant like no hardships whatsoever. Like there's always something that quote unquote could be better, or that I'm struggling with, or you know, you know, that could always be better, right? So then I can lengthen my life so that it yields more fruits, or it I can utilize the capital of my life so that it bears more fruits. Although it is very short, especially during these times of calamities when I'm facing them, which seems to take up a majority of my life from one perspective, is what I understand. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing this comment. Yeah, it, you know, makes one think about all the experiences that we go through here, or all our interactions, really. We have 9 more minutes. Let's see if there's anyone else who wants to say something. No pressure, but you know, we always love to hear different voices, especially fresh blood. The young ones, yeah. Let's not scare you guys. Okay, so let's see, if nobody has anything to say, then I would say we can move with the second remedy.
I have notes from Mariam.
Mariam, yes, exactly. Asim was saying, we can hear Mariam's notes, and I think, Mariam, that's why you raised your hand. So go for it, girl. We need those notes, inshallah. Or if you have a question, go for it too.
I was going to read my notes actually before we moved on. Is that
Yes, go ahead, please.
okay? So, my first note for the first remedy was, health doesn't belong to us. It is given to you. You are not being tortured when you become sick. Be thankful to the one who gave you health. What might seem like a calamity might really not be. Your Creator knows much more than you do. You cannot be an owner of anything because everything comes and goes. The surah that we talked about in this class was, I belong to him and to him I will return. Calamities occur most of the time to remind us that I belong to him and to him I will return. Something being taken away from you hurts. The pain and anger leads to questioning if what was taken from me was mine in the first place. When you don't realize who your creator is, and when you don't go through life experiences, really, your existence has no real meaning to it. And that was my last note.
Mashallah, excellent, good note. Yay, I don't know if you're hearing, we're clapping here. That was great, beautiful points. Is there anyone else who has any points to share? Yeah, people are applauding. Ali Marbanaj, Hatice. Do Mariam and Rayan, do you have anything to share as well? Any takeaways, excitement,
Summary.
or any summary? Yeah, keyword, give me a hashtag, anything, go ahead. All right, so anyone else wants to really briefly share their insights into this? Go ahead. Oh, I thought it was 5:25, it's 5:24, okay. So we have 6 more minutes. We can start the second remedy. So second remedy, who is going to read up the second remedy? It's open to anyone. So let's see, the first one to raise their hand gets it. And people are tired. All right, I understand it's a lazy Saturday. Let's see, we have some comments from people. Who wants to read? Oh, I can't even open this thing. Crickets, right? Yeah. Miriam Ostermer. Oh, wait. Who wants to read? Okay, now it's just too much for me. People are, okay, I don't know who went up. Who
I can
wants
read
to
it.
Okay, wonderful. Tolu, go ahead, please.
Okay. Oh, ill person. Sorry for the background noise, by the way. I hope you guys can still hear without the background noise. Second remedy.
That's fine. Go ahead, please.
Second remedy. O ill person who lacks patience. Be patient, indeed, offer thanks. Your illness may transform each of the minutes of your life into the equivalent of an hour's worship. For worship is of two kinds. One is positive, like the well known worship of supplication and the 5 daily prayers. The other are negative forms of worship, like illness and calamities. By means of these afflicted realize their impotence and weakness. They beseech their all compassionate Creator and take refuge in Him. They manifest worship which is sincere and without hypocrisy. Yes, there's a sound narration stating that a life passed in illness is counted as worship for the believer on the condition he does not complain about God. It is even established by the sound narration and by those who uncover the realities of creation that 1 minute illness of some people who are completely patient and thankful becomes the equivalent of an hour's worship, and a minute's illness of certain perfected men the equivalent of a day's worship. So you should not complain about an illness which as though transforms 1 minute of your life into 1,000 minutes and gains for you long life. You should offer thanks.
Tolu, thank you for your reading. This piece is actually packed with a lot of things that we would have to go over, but just briefly, do you want to share out just your immediate takeaway or anyone? Because that can be also something to reflect on for next time, but we'll take in any last comments from anyone from what was read, immediate impressions. Hatice Beza, go ahead.
So I guess just to fill in the crickets. So there seems to me that there is some sort of relationship between one who is patient, and one who is thankful, and one who is impatient, and thereby ungrateful. And I mean, I'm still kind of looking through the text, but that would just be just one initial comment I'm just gonna throw out there. That doesn't even fill in a minute. Sorry, Freya.
Hey, that was great. Thank you so much. And you win the first prize. Seriously, like, I mean, patience. Really, I was also wondering about that. Patience and what's the relationship of patience and then, you know, me being sick. So yeah, it's something to ponder over, but that was great. I really, mashallah, appreciate your willingness to share out. I think we all need to learn from Hatice and just express out whatever is imparted onto us. So with that, we have one more minute, but I think we can do the closing. Yeah, thumbs up from Miriam, excellent. So anyone just gonna scan quickly if there's anything, any urgent comment or anything? No? Wait, Ali Murmur, yes, go ahead, please. And you have 60 seconds. Your time starts now. Just kidding.
For the next discussion next week, I would like to give a headache ahead. So the positive worship and negative worship, I think this terminology sounds a bit problematic. What do you mean by negative worship? I would rather translate the original word for it, active worship and passive worship. Inshallah, next week, we can develop on it by using this expression, active worship and passive worship, just to share it with you and keep it in our mind. I just want to tell you, or rather than talking about them next week, inshallah.
Inshallah, Jazakallah khair, Brother Ali, for this point. So active worship and passive worship. Yeah, it also sounded a little off. Asim and I were also discussing about that. So that was great. And thank you for conveying your message in 50 seconds. That was great. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. Glory be unto you. We have no knowledge save except that which you've taught us. Indeed, you are all knowledgeable, all wise. وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين بحرمة سر سورة الفاتحة. آمين.